So the Giants are set to get underway in just about an hour from our nation's capital. But you read the title right. This is your Insomniac Lunatic Friends Giants post-game show from yesterday, April 16th, 2026. The Giants with a big 3-0 win over the Reds. Landon Roop with a great start, 6 innings, gave up just 1 hit, walked 2, struck out 6. The Giants scored 3 runs in the top of the 7th inning. There were some fireworks in the game. Spencer Steer was hit by Landon Roop. The Giants were unhappy with him calling timeout late yesterday. In the top of the 8th, Connor Phillips hit Willie Adames. Adames took a stare at the mound. The bat boy came up and he took a stare at the mound and shook his head. I'm not joking. The plate umpire, Junior Valentine, told Willie Adames and his sexy Tennessee twang to go to first base. The umpires huddled, and the third base umpire and crew chief, Quinn Wolcott, decided to throw Phillips out of the game. In the bottom of the 9th, Eric Miller, who came in for the save, by the way, his first save of the season, and his first big league save. Can't leave that part out. He struck out Sal Stewart to end it. And then he started screaming at Stewart after the game and I think was yelling some expletives and saying, "Go back to the dugout." I think he may have dropped a couple FUs in there. Hey, you don't usually see that after a team wins a game, but hey, whatever it takes, right? Whatever it takes. And look, you have things like that happen. You have a benches clearing incident, and I put incident in quotes because after the benches had emptied, Giants and Reds players are actually kind of fraternizing, however the hell you say that word. And I think Dobbs might have even given a couple guys on the Reds a hug. You would like to think, well, Giants and Reds will play each other again in August. And actually, you never know. I was about to say, you never know. You could see these two teams in the postseason, and then I realized, oh, right, the Giants will not be in the postseason this year. But, hey, any way you could take it. But when you have emotions flying like that could sometimes get things going for a team. So you have a semi-emotional win to end the series in Cincinnati. The Giants improved to 7-12. Now they're going to Washington, D.C. to face a very young and rebuilding Nationals team that they need to just pummel into the ground. There is absolutely no excuse not to at least win 2. They really should sweep the series, and they're going to need to, especially with the Dodgers coming in for 3 starting on Tuesday. So, in the top of the 7th inning, Matt Chapman, with 2 outs, hit a double out to the gap in left center field that knocked in Luis Arias. Jung-Hoo Lee lined a base hit the other way to left. That's the Jung-Hoo Lee I want to see, and he did so on the first pitch of the at-bat. I talk about how great 2-strike adjustments are, but what I haven't talked enough about is how guys can also adjust, before there are 2 strikes, even on the first pitch, like Jung-Hoo Lee did, which is exactly what I want to see from him. There's no reason for Jung-Hoo Lee to be trying to lift everything. He should be trying to go the other way. Casey Schmidt. He hits a base hit to center field. Giants score 3 runs. It's enough. Ryan Walker throws a 1-2-3, bottom of the 7th inning. Keaton Wynn, a 1-2-3, bottom of the 8th. Eric Miller does give up a walk in a scoreless bottom of the 9th, but he does strike out the side, and he gets his first big league save. And Eric Miller's a pretty fiery guy, and maybe perhaps he could be the closer. Look, this is a bullpen by committee. Randy Rodriguez, of course, is out for the season, which is a shame, but Giants are going to have to improvise with that, and I'm not even sure Rodriguez is a full-time closer as good of a season as he had last year. Remember, he went to the All-Star game last year. But as I've said before, there's not really such thing as a must-win game on April 16th, but yesterday's was as close as you were going to get. The Giants definitely needed that one, and now tonight, the Giants will start a 3-game series in Washington, D.C. against the Nationals, again, against a team that they just need to pummel into the ground. The Nationals are a young and rebuilding team, and this is a series where the Giants need to pad their record, especially going into what is going to be a very, very tough series against the Dodgers Tuesday through Thursday at Oracle Park. Some news and notes, some unfortunate news from Southern California. Garrett Anderson, a longtime outfielder for the Angels. He got what proved to be the game-winning hit, the 3-run double down the right field line off Livan Hernandez in Game 7 of the 2002 World Series. He was the home run derby winner in 2003, and the night after that, what was then U.S. Cellular Field in the south side of Chicago, won the MVP for the All-Star game. Garrett Anderson tragically passed away yesterday of a heart attack at the age of 53. Anderson was a great ball player, and from what I'm garnering, a really great guy. Bruce McGowan wrote a post on Facebook saying that Anderson was just a really easy guy to interview, and this is a tragedy. Guy was just 53 years old. I know he was doing some, I think, pre and post game commentary for the Angels. Just a good ball player, a guy who played the game the right way. And this one hurts. Career 293 hitter. And if, you are an Angels fan, he definitely meant a lot down there, and he's going to be dearly, dearly missed. So rest in peace, Mr. Anderson. Some very unfortunate news. Also, speaking of baseball people who have passed away, a couple other people have passed away in the last 9 days. Last Wednesday, Davey Lopes, a longtime player for the Dodgers, infielder. He played for the A's as well. He managed the Brewers and then coached all over the place. He coached for Bruce Bochy in San Diego. He coached under Charlie Manuel in Philadelphia, coached in D.C. He died last Wednesday at the age of 80. He had Parkinson's. And the thing is with Davey Lopes is he was a rough kid when he grew up. He grew up as a rough kid, and he got his act together to become not just a really good player, but a great coach and even a manager for 2+ years. He was fired by the Brewers shortly into the 2002 season. And he is someone who's going to be dearly, dearly missed. The true epitome of a baseball lifer, Davey Lopes. And speaking of baseball lifers, Phil Gardner also passed away. I think late last week, though I could be wrong. Phil Gardner, I believe, had cancer. Phil Gardner, it was last Saturday that he had passed away. He died of cancer. Phil Gardner, longtime player, longtime coach, and the manager of the 2005 Astros, the first Astros team to get to the World Series. He played for the A's. He was on the We Are Family 1979 Pirates, one of my favorite teams ever. Was on the Astros from 81 to 87, the Dodgers in 87, and was on the Giants in 1988. That's where he played his final game, October the 2nd, which was at Dodger Stadium. The Giants closed out that season at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers, of course, would win the World Series that year. And then he managed the Brewers from 1992 to 1999. Bob Melvin, in his introductory press conference when the Giants first hired him in October of 2023, mentioned Phil Gardner as an influence. He coached under Gardner in Detroit in 2000. Gardner was the manager from the Tigers from 2000 to 2002, and like Lopes, he was fired very early into the 2002 season. They were both fired at the beginning of the 2002 season, a weekend, and they both died just 3 days apart, 24 years later. Luis Pujols, really good guy. Got to know him a little bit in 2006 after being a bat boy for a game that year. He took over for the Tigers that year, and Felipe was his bench coach. Anyway, let's not deviate from Scrap Iron. That was Phil Gardner's nickname. And then Gardner worked a Houdini act with the Astros. The Astros were I think 44-44 at the All-Star break in '04, though I could be wrong. The Astros were hosting the All-Star game, and their manager, the late great Jimmy Williams, he died a couple or so years ago, was booed during the introductions. Usually, you have of course, the manager of the pennant winning team from the year before manages. So in the case of 2004 was Jack McKeon. The Marlins, of course, won the World Series in '03. And McKeon, like all coaches do, brings his own coaching staff and then adds two managers from a couple other teams in the same league as coaches. And generally, when that league is the home team, one of the coaches is the manager of the team that's hosting, which in the case was the Astros, Jimmy Williams. And he was a good manager himself, but things just weren't working out in Houston for him. And he got booed at the All-Star game. The next day or the day after, the Astros didn't start the second half till 3 days later, that Friday against the Padres. He was fired. Phil Gardner was brought in, and the Astros just got white hot down the stretch. You can kind of thank Dustin Hermanson for this one. The Giants were coming close to sweeping the Astros. The Giants were like 3 or 4 up. I think 4 up on the Astros. It was a finale on Thursday, September the 22nd of 2004, and Lance Berkman had a go-ahead home run. Brandon Backey had hit Barry Bonds earlier in that game, which caused the benches to empty. And then Dustin Hermanson hit Jeff Kent. And I think that really rallied the Astros, who got white hot down the stretch, and they beat out the Giants for the wild card on the final day of the season. Jeff Kent hit the walk-off home run in Game 5 of the NLCS. The Astros were a win away from the World Series, but they lost Games 6 and 7 at the old Busch Stadium. The next year, with Gardner back at the helm, the Astros were 16-31, but they came back from that with a wild card again that year. And then in '05, got to the World Series, but were swept 4 games by the Chicago White Sox. But Davey Lopes and Phil Gardner, the definition of true baseball men. And they, along with Garrett Anderson, are no longer with us, and they will all be dearly, dearly missed. All right, Giants and Nationals tonight. That will be coming in just under an hour. I got to go umpire a foosbat game, so wish me luck with that. It'll be 3:45 first pitch. Logan Webb, he gets to start after a Giants win, which has not been too common for him. By the way, going for the Nationals is going to be former Giant Zach Littell. So Logan Webb, he has not had the great start to his season, 1-2 with a 5.25 ERA, but what really burned Webb was the 6 earned runs he gave up to the Yankees in the season opener on March 25th. All right, this has been a production of Sports Radio Service. The views and language on the show do not necessarily reflect those of Sports Radio Service, its leader and my boss, Lee Leonard, and its sponsors. For Lee, I'm Stephen Ruderman. I hope you enjoyed my brief 24 hours late Insomniac Lunatic Fringe Giants post-game show. Big win for the Giants yesterday. Now they need to beat up on the Nationals this weekend. Enjoy the game, folks. I'll talk to you soon.